Hello, welcome to week one of the Dumma Bets Cash Corner, bro. I don't know.
Cash Corner, instant locks, all things sports betting, recommendations and locks.
It's right here.
You find them here.
Yes, sir. So, we're going to keep these super short, about 10 to 15 minutes every week. And this will be like the main stuff that we'll put out for the football season. But I guess let's just jump right into it. The first Big Ten game of the week. Some people might be listening on time. Most probably will not, actually. What do we got for that one?
So we got Minnesota at Nebraska, okay? Everyone seems to get on the hype train for Nebraska every single year, preseason at least. And every single year they let people down. But I think this year's different. I really do. Minnesota's a 7-point favorite here. I would say Nebraska money line, but that might be a little steep. I am going to say Nebraska is definitely covering 7 points at home for the home opener.
That's big time. Opener. Yep. Yeah, and I definitely agree. That's what I have. It'll be competitive. They'll be competitive too all year, I think. Nebraska, they're on that turn. Nebraska +7. That's our first one, leading it in. And then to the weekend is when you hit the major slate here. Leading off, Dylan, if you got your next one.
Yeah. You've got 11 o'clock kickoff in Iowa City. Tough place to play. Week one, always tough place to play. Not saying Iowa is a superpower, but they're coming in ranked number 25 preseason. Utah State, one of the not so hot programs, we'll say, in the last couple of years, especially. But with that being said, we do have some not insider information, but some pretty credible source saying Caden McNamara, starting quarterback for Iowa, going to be on a pitch count with a shoulder injury right now. That's just too tall of an order, especially with a 23.5-point favorite for Iowa. For me to comfortably bet on if he's not playing the entire game. So we're going to go the under there with 42.5 points.
Yeah, I like that. I think they'll have to rely on their running game, and they'll probably be running the ball most of the game anyway. And if that's the case, you chew up a lot of clock. I'm digging that under as well, and I actually have that on our parlay for later. Jumping now, Ohio State, Indiana. I know you're liking the over on that, which that's at what, 49.5?
59.5.
59.5?
Yeah, I think they're basically betting Ohio State to score probably 52 points and Indiana get a touchdown. Yes or no, pretty much.
Yeah. I was very tempted to roll even for Indiana points in that game. But, if you kind of dumb it down in that sense, I think that's more appealing than the points.
Yeah.
So roll with the under or the over on that. Pardon me.
Yep.
So next, West Virginia, Penn State.
Yeah. Penn State's coming in. They've got a good looking season ahead of them, I think. West Virginia, just too big of a question mark for me. At Penn State for the season and home opener, I'm taking Penn State to cover 20.5 points.
Yeah, and I said this will probably be like the one that I'm the most skeptical of coming into it, the new quarterback, but it's West Virginia, at home. You take the odds as you can get them. So, West Virginia, Penn State. And then we'll move on. Got a couple here. Northwestern, Rutgers. I'm not sure if you have any initial thoughts on that.
Yeah, so talking about these two teams, I think it's kind of consensus all around depending on who you ask. Or I guess it doesn't matter who you ask, but we're not expecting either of these teams to compete this year in 2023. Probably not 2024, probably not 2025. It might be a long road for these two teams, but without going too far into that rabbit hole, we're thinking Northwestern money line here. I mean, while that game really could go either way, the odds on the Northwestern at Rutgers, because they're both just such abysmal teams pretty much. For plus 198, Northwestern's kind of like, hey, throw a few bucks here.
That's what I'm saying. It would not hurt to sprinkle it on. It'd be like watching two kids fight at recess, kind of.
You got the fat kid that just got out of lunch, and you got the skinny kid that ain't ate since last Tuesday, going at it, kind of.
Yeah, it's like you can't turn away.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. Nice. Yeah, I got him plus 6.5. Dylan, you're thinking the money line.
Yeah,
for that. That's honestly a pretty good pick, I think.
Just because of the odds. I mean, if it was minus 140 for Northwestern, I ain't touching it.
Yeah, the bookie 7 points for 6.5. That's crazy.
Almost plus 200. Hey, throw $5 on it.
You never know.
Yeah.
Because we'll make up for it down below if it doesn't hit. But we'll talk about Purdue first. -4.5 Fresno State. I got them covering.
Yeah,
Got the points on that.
Home against Fresno State. We went back and forth just because Fresno State's like an iffy team. You never know what you're gonna get from them. But Purdue, they're a overall solid team. I would say they're not a team that you walk in saying, "Hey, we know we're gonna beat these guys." They're not a Northwestern. They're not a Rutgers, but they're not like like they're gonna win every game because they're just not.
True.
4.5 at home though. I think that's doable.
That's definitely doable with a new quarterback. And, they're not comparable to like a team like Wisconsin, who's got Buffalo at home. 27.5, I'm taking the points. I think Wisconsin will kind of run the table there. No problem. And then so we had the Nebraska +7. So now it's some parlays. This is where we're going to make that money. All right. I'll let you lead it off for yours, man.
Yeah, so we got a pair of 3-leg parlays that we're both looking, or both liking, I should say. We got 3 different legs in each one, except for one leg that's similar. I'll start off with what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for an alternate spread, Iowa -18.5. We mentioned earlier that McNamara is going to be on a pitch count. Not expecting a whole lot of fireworks and a whole lot of explosion here. So I think that -18.5 against a pretty piss poor team in Utah State, that's doable. Plus Iowa at home, they're hard to bet against there. And then going back to Ohio State versus Indiana, while it's very doable, 30 points is a lot. So we're going to go with the over here, 59.5, which that's going to be one of the higher overs we're going to see this year, especially on the locks. But Ohio State's just too talented not to put up 49 plus points here. And it just comes down to Indiana being able to score points, I think. Last one is I'm going to ride that Penn State bandwagon a little bit here. I like them at home against West Virginia, covering 20.5 points. Now, going back to where the money's made, these 3 legs combined, an Iowa more favorable spread, an over and then a spread, +485. Not bad odds on that.
Not too shabby, and it's pretty. This is like the week, I think, the weeks to really pound the spreads, pound the overs, because, these are the kind of the pooper games.
Yeah, get them out the
what
games.
I mean. You're picking up my drift. So I got a 3-legger here. I'm rolling with the Iowa under. That McNamara information, big time. They're not going to be able to score a lot of points. They're not going to give up a lot of points. So we're just banking on good defense and run the ball in the second half. Illinois, I'm taking points -9.5 versus Toledo. People are saying, Toledo's a solid team, probably going to win the MAC this year, but Illinois got a lot to prove this year and started out at home. It'd be a good way to do it. And then last, we were just talking about it, Northwestern +6.5. I'm taking it, man. I'm going to watch that game just because it's on a Sunday morning too. No NFL. So, and those 3 right there, it equals about, 680 +680. So some money to be made, and we'll definitely check in next week and tell you how we did. And if you're betting along with us, let us know. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or X, YouTube page at Dumma Sports. Also, if you want to tune in to some power rankings weekly on the Instagram, Twitter, maybe YouTube. So check those out. Link will be down below. You already know. So, Dylan, any last words?
Thank you guys for tuning in today, and let's go make some money.
True.